So we have a PCGS submission that I will be unboxing for you all. We could guess the grades together. This was on the economy route, and from the day I mailed it to the day I got back, it was just over 65 days. So I would say it was okay. Didn't win any awards on speed, but also was probably in line with expectations. Let's jump right into it. I admit I already saw the grades, so I would say the grader mood was a little hard, not too hard. I would say these grades are probably more fair than unfair, to maybe just erred a little bit on the difficult side. Starting off with this 1880 Indian cent. As you can see, very nice strike. Lacks some luster, I would say. Clearly some nice natural reds hiding in the fields there, but obviously a fair amount of brown as well. This one was in a 64 brown PCGS holder. It was a slightly older holder, and I thought there was a decent chance I can get it over to a red brown, but for a while I kept this one raw. When I say a while, I meant maybe a year. So obviously I took some risk. I like keeping my coins raw if you've seen my other videos, so that's why. But very nice strike. I thought the strike was well deserving of a 64. The fields, no major detracting marks. There's definitely some hits on the face there, so you can maybe say, but the luster I think is what held this back from any kind of aggressive grade. But they called it a 63 red brown, which coming out of a 64 brown was about a wash. And yeah. Next up, another Indian cent. This was an NGC 64 red brown holder. Interesting kind of toning, and I apologize for the light. It is really difficult to get good lights on these videos without making them really annoying. If you guys have any recommendations, put it in the comments below. But the reverse has a lot of natural red in it. Very nice. And almost looks like just two totally different coins. I'm not sure how this would have gotten this kind of just a different tone on the obverse, but nice strike overall, I would say. A little bit of softness on the feather tips there. So I did not think this would be a 65. Plus you have that hit right on the cheek. This is just one of those examples. I just like keeping coins raw, but it was done with the Indian set, so sent it back in for grading, and yeah, it stayed a 64 red brown. So overall, no major change other than the loss of the grading fee. This was probably the most intriguing one. I found this at a local dealer. This was actually a raw coin, a stunning buffalo. Of course, 1913. This is a Type 1 Denver. And what was interesting is the coin shop that I bought it from had this as AU, and they called it AU 58, which you could tell there's a little bit of flatness on the hair in the head. So I thought, hey, that's probably fair. It's got some really stunning color, a bit of a rainbow look on especially the obverse here. Really a beautiful coin. And I thought, there's a shot this gets mint state. The luster is not booming. In 1913 Type 1s tend to have pretty solid luster, so I figured it was not going to be a high grade. This was either going to be an AU 58 plus or like a 63 or 64. They called it right in the middle of that, 62, which, in a sense is still a win. I get the sense they kind of net graded this because it's such a nice looking coin, but it does have a little bit of flatness, which maybe they called a flat strike. Just an interesting coin overall. I don't really know what to make of it, but next up, this one. I knew and had almost instant regret. So I said all these came cracked out. I was wrong. These two coins, the one Buffalo nickel and this one, I actually bought raw. This is a classic example of don't buy expensive raw coins at a coin show because the lighting is poor. And this particular dealer only had raw coins. So it wasn't like a big red flag is when a dealer has 80% graded and then raw expensive coins. It'd be one thing if it's like raw $30, $40, $50 coins where they just don't justify the grading fee. But this one, of course, I bought it at effectively a mint state 62 grade. It's a 1929. Wait, what is this, a mint mark? No, it's a 29 Philly. But when I got it home, it just had a look to it that made me concerned it was possibly cleaned. It's stunning. And again, this is why at a coin show, the lighting can be sketchy at times. So be careful. But yeah, they called it Unk Details Cleaned. I'm not upset by it because it may be hard to depict this on the video. It's about the lightest cleaning you can get and really a stunning coin overall. But if you catch it in the right light, there is just a handful of hairlines on the reverse. And yeah, I don't know what that coin's worth. We'll see. This is a nice 1928 chocolate brown wheat cent here. And it has that kind of cool wood grain-like toning on the reverse. The reverse is the winner of this particular coin. And yeah, overall, a nice kind of just quality brown coin. Came back 64 brown. I think that's fair. It maybe could have squeezed into a 65, but doesn't make a big difference in value. Next up are some series that you may or may not like. Jefferson Nickels and Roosevelt Dimes. Some really nicely toned Roosevelt Dimes. This was a very nice 48 Denver. And this came out of a 67 NGC holder a long time ago. And I put it in a version of a Dansko album. So obviously I risked that grade over time, but it just had a really nice kind of Nickels can tone with that golden look. And I thought there was a shot this could come back full step, but I've also graded enough full step Nickels to know that when there is it's kind of hard to tell. Apologize for the shaking there, but you can see ever so slightly a faint hit across. Apologize there for staying with me, but you can see a slight hit across the steps, and yeah, it went down to a 66. So definitely a loss there, and be careful cracking things out, put into Dansko. This is a war nickel, really cool, flashy, and some interesting toning, a bit golden. Also a little dirty, it almost seems, but a fairly common tone overall for a Jefferson nickel. But no doubt about it, full stepper. But 44Ds are very common in full steps. And overall nice coin. It came back 66 plus. This wasn't a 66 full step NGC holder, so I guess you can say technically a win, but probably a loss when you account for the grading fees. And I'm collecting a purely toned full date set up through 64 of Roosevelt Dimes. And these are just some duplicates that I sent back in. The thing I'm learning about Roosevelt Dimes, getting them graded, is even though it has nice toning overall, I thought this had a chance at a full belt or full band. It came back 66, which the market will value this coin at barely the grading fee. So kind of at a loss of what to do with some of these. Nobody wants to buy a raw Roosevelt dime, but the 66 grade, without full bell or full bands, just barely covers your grading costs, and it doesn't make sense to grade at all. But these all have some pretty nice toning. This one actually came out of an old Dansko album way back, so very clear album toning. I had them put it reverse up. Obverse was just okay toning, but it came back 66 as well. Next up, this one again had some really cool kind of golden toning to these. And if you don't own a Roosevelt dime, I'd recommend considering buying one because they just have some really awesome toning. 66 as well. This one, actually this is the only one with really great true views. I'd recommend go on that and look at that cert. This has really cool true views. They actually look better than the coin in hand. But again, had that really nice album toning. But a harsh grade. I mean, this effectively makes this like a $10 coin. So just donating to the PCGS coffers. Again, really nice album toning here. And there's a lot of hits in the field, so the toning is like 67 toning, but the hits are just a little too much. And then the reverse, again, just a little too much. So it came back 66, which I think is fair. Lastly, 2 left, and then I want to show you some new purchases that are really cool I've picked up. This came out of a NGC. One thing I've noticed is NGC can at times be a little more friendly to color. And this, I'm guessing, the spot right there is what they're going to call foul on, because this was a straight graded 65 in NGC, and they called it questionable color. So I don't know what to do with this thing. Shame on me, I guess. I've gotten back into collecting toned Roosevelt dimes. So this particular Franklin is all about the reverse. Has some really interesting reverse toning. I'm assuming some type of album has created this. It actually was in a PCI holder, so it might have toned in that PCI holder. I know they can do that at times. I thought there was a fighting chance at full bell lines. There was no noticeable cross hits. And 51 Phillies, a little tough to get there, but man, they were pretty harsh on this one. But I think this will trade on the toning alone because it's just so intriguing how it toned that way. All right, let's get to the pickups. So I'll save the best 2 for last. But this was a really cool Washington quarter that I picked up. Now I'm going to put into my tone quarter set. And just like a bit of a rainbow look. Some really nice colors. The obverse, nothing super special here, but this reverse is really cool. And then my 2 favorites were, of course, Roosevelt dimes. This, I'm actually going to keep this one in the holder, which is unusual for me, but 67 full bell or full bands. But really interesting kind of golden toning. Nothing really on the reverse. 51S is a common, really nice toned Roosevelt dime in the series. So I'd highly recommend those mint sets tone the F51S's really nicely. And then, again, just an absolute stunner here. Man, that's cool. This is definitely my favorite of the group, 67 full bell. Full bands as well. And just kind of a rainbow look here. Really awesome. This is what makes, I got this thing for $200, and $200 gets you just a basic blast white Morgan. If you try and get toning like this on a Morgan, you're paying $1,000 or more. So that just shows you the value inherent in a really nicely toned Roosevelt dime. So thanks for watching. Take care, everybody.